Hello and welcome, my dear friend. It's not by accident that you found this message. You've come too far to be confused now. You've already survived things that tried to end you. Whether you know it or not, you've been preparing for this moment your entire life. There are some things you know deep in your bones long before anyone ever explains them to you. Like how you've always felt like you were thrown into the deep end of life. Like how nothing ever seemed to come easy to you, even when you tried to do everything right. Like how you kept running into walls that weren't even supposed to be in your way. This isn't bad luck. It's not life being unfair. It's spiritual warfare, and you were born into it. Some people get to live their whole lives without ever stepping into the kind of pressure you felt since you were a child. But you walked into rooms that felt heavy, and you didn't know why. You carried responsibilities you didn't sign up for. You felt the ache of invisible battles long before you had language for them. This is the part no one tells you. You weren't just a sensitive child. You were born with something that makes you a threat in places you can't even see. And because of that, you became a target early. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't ask for it. But your existence alone activated opposition. Let's stop pretending you haven't noticed. You've been under attack since before you even knew what you were carrying. Betrayal found you in places where you should have been safe. People turned on you when all you did was show up with love in your hands. Doors closed in your face not because you lacked anything, but because something about you unsettled the room. You've blamed yourself for these things, haven't you? Wondered what you did to deserve this kind of isolation. Told yourself maybe you were too much, too intense, too serious, too different. But none of that is true. You weren't too much. You were too real for people invested in pretending. You were too honest for spaces that thrived on lies. You carried too much light for those who built their comfort in the dark. The attacks? They weren't random. They were warnings. The enemy recognized what you didn't. They saw the blueprint over your life while you were still figuring out how to survive it. And this is why your life has felt like an uphill battle. Not because you're cursed, because you're carrying something that threatens every lie, every stronghold, every generational pattern that was supposed to stay unchallenged. This is why the warfare didn't wait for you to become successful. It came when you had nothing. It came when you were young, vulnerable, wide open. They tried to break you before you even knew you had the option to stand. But you did stand, didn't you? Even when your legs shook. Even when you questioned your own worth. You kept breathing through nights that tried to suffocate you. You kept walking even when the road disappeared beneath your feet. And now? Now you're reaching a point where you can't ignore it anymore. You can't keep calling it bad luck. You can't keep explaining it away. This is war. And you were born into it not as a victim, but as someone who carries a mission they haven't even fully stepped into yet. This is why the pressure has been suffocating at times, because you are being pushed into clarity. The enemy's strategy has always been the same. Hit them so hard, so early, that they give up on themselves before they even realize who they are. And that's exactly what almost happened to you, isn't it? You almost stopped fighting. You almost convinced yourself maybe this is just life. But deep down, you've always known this isn't it. This wasn't how your story was supposed to go. And now, here you are, on the edge of remembering what you were always supposed to know. You don't owe this world another watered-down version of yourself. You owe it your full truth. And the truth is, you've been called to dismantle some things. To be the one who faces what no one else in your bloodline had the strength to face. And yes, it's heavy. It's not romantic or glamorous. It's lonely, it's exhausting, it's unfair. But it's also the reason you're still breathing. Because no matter what tried to stop you, you kept showing up. You kept choosing to get back up when quitting would have been easier. You've come too far to let the weight make you forget how far you've already carried it. You've spent enough time doubting your own strength. Enough time telling yourself maybe you made it all up. But the truth is, no one walks through what you've walked through without it meaning something. Those attacks that didn't make sense, the seasons where everything fell apart at once, where you were hit from all sides and no one around you understood why. Those weren't random storms. They were strategic attempts to wear you down, to make you forget your own capacity. They were meant to make you small, to keep you tangled in survival mode so you'd never have the space to see the bigger picture. And they almost worked. You almost stayed down. You almost convinced yourself you were just unlucky, that your life was just going to be one long stretch of struggle. But that's not what this is. This has never been about struggle for the sake of struggle. It's been about trying to suffocate the parts of you that are meant to disrupt everything that tried to hold you back. And now you see it. The attacks weren't about your past. They were about your future. They were trying to stop the person you're becoming, the one who no longer needs approval to know they're walking the right path, the one who no longer waits for the world to make space for them. They hoped you'd give up on yourself before you realized how much authority you already have. They hoped you'd settle into quiet frustration instead of stepping into the kind of life that breaks cycles. And it's not just about you, is it? You've always felt that quiet weight in your chest that told you, if you keep going, others will find the courage to keep going too. That the things you're breaking through will create space for people who never had a chance to even dream of breaking free. This is why the attacks feel so personal, because they are. But they're also bigger than you. Every time you choose to stay the course, even when it doesn't make sense, you're changing more than just your own story. You're clearing paths that others will one day walk without knowing the battles you had to fight to make those paths possible. That's why the pressure never lets up. That's why the enemy has been relentless. Because every time you get back up, you push things forward, you disrupt patterns that were supposed to go unchallenged for generations. And no, this isn't about showing the world how strong you are. It's about refusing to let your story end where they thought it would. It's about refusing to hand over the pen to the same forces that tried to silence you since the beginning. You already did the hardest part. You stayed standing. You kept your heart open, even when it would have been easier to shut down and build walls. You kept believing there had to be more, even when all the signs pointed to giving up. And now, things are shifting. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because you're not the same person who used to beg for crumbs of peace. You've learned to create it from the inside out. You've learned to protect what's sacred to you, to walk away from what drains you without apologizing for it, to hold your ground when everything around you tries to pull you back into old patterns. This is the part where you start moving differently, not from fear, not from exhaustion, but from clarity. Clarity about who you are. Clarity about what you will no longer tolerate. Clarity about what you're here to do. You don't need more signs. You've been given all the confirmation you need in the battles you've survived. Now it's about walking like you know, speaking like you know, living like you know. You're not on the defense anymore. You've been trained by the very storms that tried to wipe you out. You've learned how to move in spaces you were never supposed to survive. And that means you can't go back to who you used to be. The person who doubted themselves. The person who needed validation to feel seen. Who waited for permission to take up space. That version of you no longer exists, and the world will feel it. Because from this point on, you walk as someone who knows exactly what they're carrying, exactly what they're confronting, exactly why they're still breathing. You didn't make it this far just to survive it. You made it this far to finish what tried to finish you. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.